Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make black beans puree, also known as sauce. Let's get started. You're going to need a pound of black beans, a cup of coconut milk, adobo, magi, and fresh thyme. You're also going to need a Dutch oven pot to put your beans in, a drainer with the smallest holes possible, and a blender to blend our beans. And then first thing you want to do is add water to your pot. About halfway is fine. And then we're going to want to rinse our beans thoroughly to just make sure that they're clean and that there's no dirt in them. Once they're clean, we're going to add into our pot, cover, and let it cook for about 2 hours. Be sure to check frequently to add water as needed. Once our beans are cooked, it should look like that. You can also check between your two fingers to make sure that you can press on them, because that's how you know that they're going to be cooked. Once they're cooked, we're going to take our drainer in a bowl, and then we're going to pour our beans and drain all that juice out of our beans. Once we do that, we're going to pour the beans in the pot that we had cooked it in so we can get ready to blend it. Okay? So once you pour your beans in your pot, go ahead and grab your blender and a scoop so you can scoop your beans and blend them. Okay. You're going to want to add 2 scoops of beans in your blender and 2 scoops of beans broth in your blender so you can blend it together, okay? So once that is done, we're going to attach our blender here and press the puree button and let it do its thing. And once that is done, we're going to just add it back in the bean broth that was already in the bowl. And I'll show you why in a minute. Okay. So now we're going to scoop more beans to put in our blender so we can puree our second batch. Be sure to leave some beans behind so you can have a nice spoonful of beans in your puree when you get ready to eat it. And I'll show you how to do that. So right here, I'm scooping 1 scoop and then another scoop. And then I'm also going to leave some beans behind, just so when my beans are cooked, you see that? That way, when your puree is fully cooked, you can have some nice beans while you eat your food, whether you eat it with rice or whatever else you decide to eat it with. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the broth in, and we're going to let that blend again. About 2 scoops is fine. Okay, so once we have that, you see? We're going to go ahead and puree it again. So just attach your blender, press the puree button. And then once we're done, we're going to pour it back like we did the first time, okay? And that's the last time we're doing this. We want to make sure everything got in the bowl and stir it so all of it can be together. And what I'm going to do here is just to add a little bit more broth in my blender to get that remainder that was at the bottom and pour it back in. So once that is done, I have my drainer again, and I put it this time on top of my Dutch oven where the beans were and pour it in to get all that pulp out of there. You see the pulp? That's the beans that we just blended in our blender, and we got to get the pulp out. So make sure you take your drainer and you put it on top of that Dutch oven and you drain the broth. Get all the pulp out. And we're going to do that until we are fully done. Okay, so now that we have everything in there, we're going to pick up our drainer and shake it a little bit, or you can use your scooper and mix it all around just so we can get all the broth out of there and the pulp to remain in our drainer. And it should look like that. Okay, so that's how it should look like. Make sure you just get all the broth. Okay, once that is done, you can now throw the pulp away. We no longer need it. Okay, so now that we're done with that, we're going to put our Dutch oven back on the stove so we can finish it up. So you're gonna want to add some salt, and then grab your Maggi, because you gonna grab that next, and your adobo. And once that is added in, we're going to stir that like so. And then we're going to grab our coconut milk. Remember, you can add a cup of coconut milk, or a cup and a half of coconut milk is fine. It depends on how much coconut milk you want. You're going to add that in, stir it, and let it cook, okay? So once that has been cooking for maybe about 15 minutes or so, we're going to be adding our fresh thyme in there. This is optional, but you can add a teaspoon of minced garlic to finish it off. And that's it. About 25 minutes later from letting it simmer, this is what you should have. I hope you really enjoyed this video and I hope you like it. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. I've already showed you guys how to make the kalalu, and now I'm showing you guys how to make the puree. Thanks again guys for watching. Bye.